This is real good content. We should actually just drop this. I don't give a...
All right. Start with a little bit of music. Why not? Keep it consistent. Though this is not a very consistent episode, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm interested to try something new, something that I've never done before, something different, something for y'all. But before that, as always, a little bit of music is always in order. So.
Biggie Smalls is the illest. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Yeah. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Live from Bedford Stuyvesant, the livest one. Representing BK to the fullest. Gats, I pull it. Bastards ducking when Big B bucking. Chicken heads be clucking in my back room fucking. It ain't nothing. They know Big B handling with the Mac in the act door paneling. Bandaging MCs. Oxygen, they can't breathe. Mad tricks up the sleeve. Wear boxes so my dick can breathe. Breeze through with the Q45 by my side. Lyrical high. And those that brushes my clutches get put on crutches. Get smoked like Dutches from the master. Hate to blast ya, but I have to. You see, I smoke a lot. Your life is played out like Kwame and the fucking polka dots. Who rock the spot? Biggie, you know how the weed go. Unbelievable. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Biggie Smalls is the illest. Biggie Smalls is the illest.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Tell him.
B-I-G-G-I-E, a.k.a. B-I-G, get it? Biggie, also known as the Bon Appetit. Rappers can't sleep, need sleeping. Big keep creeping, bullets heat seeking. Casualties need treating.
Hold on. Oh my God.
Remember back in the days when niggas had braids, Caselli shades and cornbraids, picture pennies, honeys had the high top jellies, shooting skelly, motherfuckers was all friendly, lounging at the barbecues, drinking brews with the neighborhood crews, hanging on the avenues. Turn your pages to 1993, niggas is getting smoked, G. Believe me, talk slick, you get your neck slick quick, cause real street niggas ain't having that shit. Talking text for rap, smoking blunts in the project all way, shooting dice all day, waiting for niggas to step up on some fighting shit. We get hype and shit and start fighting shit, so step away with your fist fight ways, motherfucker. This ain't back in the day,
But they don't hear me though.
back in the day. Remember they used to talk, back in the day. Remember they used to talk, back in the day. Remember they used to talk, back in the day. Remember they used to talk, no talk.
Oh my.
Sicker than your average. Papa twist cabbage off instinct. Just don't think kids think big theaters.
My Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Stand right, if they head right, Biggie there at night. Papa been school since days of under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Rules who? Do something to us. Talk goes through us.
Girls want to us, wanna do us, screw us.
Who us? Yeah, Papa and Pup. Both Starsky and Hutch, clip the clutch.
Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3.
Bang every MC easily.
Take that.
Recently, frontin' ain't saying nothing,
So I just speak my peace, keep my peace, go with the Jesus peace, with my peace.
asking who want it, they want it, flaunt it, that Brooklyn boot, we on it.
Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they broke in your soul. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. I guess that's why they broke in your soul.
I put
Whoo! Man. Yeah. Gotta, yo, Notorious B.I.G., man. Long live the king. It is windy as shit outside. Oh my word. I'm recording this on Saturday night, late Saturday night. It is windy as all hell out there. But yeah, open with the Notorious B.I.G. set. And when I say set, it's just 3 songs. I'm not a fucking DJ or anything. But I mean, I did want to remember Notorious B.I.G. mainly because, of course, it was the 25th anniversary. I don't know if anniversary is the right word, but I don't know a better word for the 25th year remembrance of his passing. The reason why, and it's something that my good friend Phil had pointed out, was the fact that, yo, B.I.G. passed when he was 24. So he's officially been gone longer than he was here. But his music still like lives on to this day. And I mean, I think again, it's an interesting thing to think about when it's like, yeah, like he's been gone longer. So long live Notorious B.I.G., forever the king of New York. I don't want to hear nothing about it. With that being said, welcome all to episode number 61 of the What Are We Even Talking About podcast. I am your host, Izzy, and today I am here with nobody. In case for the people who are not watching this on YouTube and you're just listening to it and you're like, yo, wait, I haven't heard the voice of the guest yet, because you normally hear them maybe during the music part, maybe after the music part, you hear them. No, it's just me today. Just me. And it's not for lack of guest opportunities, but to challenge myself, I guess you can say. I've been feeling really good. I'll be honest. And I need to just say this like to my audience. Who the fuck do I think I am? To the people who listen to this podcast, however many you are, I don't know. I do it for I will always treat this for, like, no matter how big the audience grows, whatever the case is, I try not to even pay attention to the numbers as much anymore, because I'm just like, no, like, I just want to put stuff out, and this is kind of like therapy to me. I wanted to just talk to y'all, go through these topics with y'all, and just chat. A lot of podcasters do podcasts by themselves. Shout out to Sam Roberts. He does a really great wrestling podcast that's probably one of the few podcasts that I still listen to on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis. Pretty amazing that this dude just sits by himself. I think he records it in his basement and just talks. And he interviews people every now and again, but his content is predominantly just him by himself. There are a lot of people who do that. And I said, why not me? I've been feeling really good about myself, been feeling really good about things that are going on. I'm going to give this a try something new, see how it goes. Here I am. Please let me know how y'all feel about this, because it feels weird to me already, but alas, we go through it. I have a bit of a long list of topics to go through. So, I mean, I'll go through them, and I'll probably end up running through tangents as I'm running through all of these topics. What am I even talking about? The mere nature of the name of this podcast is completely not conducive to me doing this shit by myself. And then also the fact that I don't have a guest. I'm over here using words like conducive and bullshit. Like, who am I? Who am I right now? What version of Izzy am I supposed to be? Who knows? But what I do want to get into right away for sure is these gas prices. I'll be honest. There are 2 types of people that exist right now on social media. It's the people who are talking about the gas prices, and the people who are talking about how much they don't give a shit about the gas prices. I fall under the ilk of people who don't really give a shit about the gas prices because no matter what, it's not going to really... I understand, yes, if you put $20, $30, $40 in your gas tank because the prices are higher right now, so it's not going to be as much gas. Fam, I'm not paying attention to that shit. I still got places to go. I still got things to do. I can't just not drive. And I'm not going to learn how to fucking ride a horse in the next, in the next few months while this thing is happening. So, gas prices are high. It is what it is, y'all. Just, fucking... I don't know that, and I also don't know that people... a lot of people are saying, well, this is like the president's fault and all this shit. Just bless your hearts, I guess. Bless your hearts. It ain't that, but bless your heart. You mean well. You mean well. I do hope though that the gas prices do come down eventually, but because I think last I saw some places where at like $4.50 or some shit. I do feel concerned for the people who have to put in the expensive gas. I think I saw Cootie, because Cootie drives a large vehicle. I don't know what kind of car it is, but I know he has to put pricier gas into that bad boy. And yeah, that poor guy over here DJing extra parties just to try to make up the difference. Oh man, I love you, Cootie. I love you, Cootie. And it makes me really appreciate the fact that you're still willing to pick me up whenever we're gonna go do stuff together. Because of the gas prices being higher, it does mean more. So don't think I don't notice. Quick drink. That is the one thing about not having a guest, is that normally when you have a guest, you're able to have your drink. You're able to drink from your drink while the guest is speaking. So that there's not a pause of dead air or dead silence for no reason. And it's like just now, I'm for also a rare moment, I'm like actually watching the waveforms of the thing intently. I'm like, God, that's a long break of me just fucking drinking. So I'm gonna try not to drink so much. I've also been drinking a lot so far. What are we even talking about? What am I even talking about? In connection to these gas prices being just astronomical, one big catalyst to it, of course, though, is what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and the world and the possibility of another world war. And I don't know that I've ever seen, it's literally Russia versus everybody right now. And I try to be very informed, but I also try not to be so politically involved as much anymore, because I used to be very heavily into politics at onset of my career. But it really does seem and smell like, is that Russia's at a point of just like, we are getting washed. Like the world is isolating themselves from us. I literally just keep seeing more and more reports of people just pulling resources away from Russia, and it's fucking insane. It's insane. And then also the biggest difference between, because if this is World War III, it being in the digital age and seeing some of this footage from Ukraine in all this time has been it's tough to process the concept of like, some of these people, I saw one girl on TikTok. I didn't see it on TikTok. It made its way by natural selection to more important platforms like Instagram and Facebook, of course. But yeah, it's like them living in a bomb shelter and them coming out of the bomb shelter just to like see how everything is going, but then going back into the bomb shelter. What? That is insane. That is completely insane. Prayers to everyone in the Ukraine. I can't even begin to understand what's going on. I do feel like there are a lot of people who think they understand and they just want to sit and talk. Please, people, reserve the right to just say, I don't know about some shit. Because all the people who were fucking crypto experts a couple of weeks ago or months ago, who were giving you all of this advice, and they were all like master stock traders before that, and all of this are now political analysts who completely understand what's going on in a conflict of this level with such worldwide implications. They completely get it. They completely understand it. And they're just going with the motions of it. Like, yeah, I know what I'm talking about from my fucking Facebook feed based on what I'm reading and what I'm seeing. This is all because of this thing and that thing. Like, get it together, people. Get it the fuck together. If you don't know, you don't know. You don't need to know. Because I don't know, and I'm fine saying I don't fucking know. I don't. Talking about things that I do know, though. And this is a segue. I guess I'm going right into sports. Look at this topics list. What am I even talking about? Yeah, sports. Why not? Why not? Kind of sports. Cain Velasquez. So for those of you who don't know, Cain Velasquez, could be Velasquez. No, it's Velasquez. Who am I kidding? No, it's Velasquez. So he is a former UFC heavyweight champion. Also made some appearances in the WWE, but we're not going to talk about that because they were fucking terrible. But he was arrested for, I think the charges are something along the lines of attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon. He shot some dudes. I believe it's like 2 dudes in a car. Shot both of them. Right? To which point I was like, yo, Cain is crazy. This is nuts. Right? Because, yeah, you're an MMA fighter. You shouldn't, like, no one should just be shooting people all willy-nilly. So it's like, all right, like, so I was just like, yo, damn, he got arrested. That's crazy. He's wild for that. And then I started seeing a movement of sorts. I started seeing this free Cain movement. People saying, I stand with Cain Velasquez. Free Cain Velasquez. I'm like, yo, wait, what is going on? What? I needed to learn more. What is going on here? And then the true details, more details on the matter kind of came to the light. The individuals whom of which Cain, and I don't know, look at me again, I don't know. I'm just over here flying solo today. So usually this is the kind of thing that maybe my guest would like have like more concrete details on, but I'm just a guy with a microphone who just feels like he can talk and people will listen. But he had shot, and I don't know if it was both dudes involved or just one dude involved, with the, I don't want to use any of those kind of phrasings because it's just involved with some very, very nasty behavior with very underage members of Cain's family. All right. I will leave you to do your research on that information there because I don't necessarily want to. It's just nasty shit that I don't like to talk about too much because it's a big trigger for me and for most decent people. And when you think about what are the triggers for decent people, you think to yourself, what would you do in that situation? And you immediately feel for Cain and say, yeah, I stand with Cain Velasquez because I would do the same thing. I wouldn't. I would 100% do the same thing. Who am I kidding? There's no. I don't know that I have any kind of what you call it, second thoughts on that, any doubts about it. It's like no, I'd probably take those same kind of actions. That's real shit. You don't play with people's families like that. Like that's not okay. And I mean, yeah, you shouldn't take the law into your own hands, but I'm sorry, man. I think when you're part of some of these communities where you don't really receive quote unquote justice, you're gonna take matters into your own hands, and that's what Cain did. He served his own piece of justice. So yes, there's a strong possibility that Cain will be serving some jail time. I mean, the gentleman was on trial for his acts against the minor in question, so he may also serve jail time still because Cain didn't kill him. So it's just nasty shit, really, really nasty shit. And Cain didn't kill that man, but I hope he rots in jail. I really hope he does, because I mean it's just fucking terrible. It's really terrible. Sticking on sports. Major League Baseball. I believe the lockout is done. I believe so. I did read somewhere that they agreed to make a change on not being able to do shifts. I mean, rule changes to make the game easier for some people is just like, yo, fam, what are we doing? What are we really doing here? Something about Major League Baseball really needs to change, because I feel like they are the only sport that has just not gotten with the times at all. Am I bugging in thinking this? Am I alone in thinking this? Like, I feel like baseball is like doing nothing to really acquire a young fan base and try to like keep some shit interesting, because everything has just been the same for the last 100 years. Like, can y'all, yeah, like y'all gotta do. I will say I do love the All-Star game formatting. Still is pretty amazing, because that actually does have implications for the World Series, which is cool. But otherwise, yeah, it's like, call me when the Yankees are winning. Call me when Yankees are in the playoffs, and then I'll be there and I'll be watching, because I just can't I can't do baseball day in and day out. It does appear like the lockout is over, which, I mean, I did think that the lockout. I honestly thought that we were not gonna get a season. I really did think that like shit was not gonna come together, because we've seen it happen in baseball before, where they have like a shortened season and they just like are just unable to come up with agreements, because it's all a whole bunch of old dudes trying to figure some shit out. But lockout ended. I saw that the Yankees are heading down to Tampa for spring training, because Lord knows they ain't trying to do no spring training in the Bronx. Like, weather's still trash over here. They're like, nah, we out of here. Y'all have fun with this. We gonna be down in Tampa, and we gonna chill down there. God, fucking yeah. Anytime I drink, it's gonna be it just feels insane. Sticking on to sports though, and shifting over to football. There's a lot going on right now in football. I've been seeing just a lot of trades going on right now. It's that time of the year. The two biggest things to talk about, and they're both quarterback related. First one is Aaron Rodgers has signed to stay with the Green Bay Packers, which I did not see coming. I really thought this motherfucker was going to go. He was going to be gone. He seemed very disgruntled. He seemed like he was just ready to move on to greener pastures. Get it? Because he plays in Green Bay, so he was looking for greener pastures. Yeah, y'all marinate on that one, all right? But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is gonna stay in Green Bay. I will tell you right now, for a man who had the amount of hype and the amount of talent that is Aaron Rodgers, the fact that he may really end his career with only one Super Bowl win is fucking hilarious. Because I remember Rodgers being heavily compared to Brady in that like best quarterback in the league conversation for a long time. Remember Nolan Jackson was preaching that shit heavy. Yo, Aaron Rodgers he's the fucking best quarterback in the league. He can make every throw. He's got agility. He's got accuracy. He's got it all. He's got arm strength. Like, oh my God, the Hail Mary and all the everything. He's got it all. But he just could not seem to make it happen. And it wasn't like the Packers weren't going into, like, he had a team that would always look amazing in the regular season, and they would get to the playoffs, and then something would happen. It'd be something. They're always the victim to whatever amazing team needs to look amazing in a Super Bowl run. Like, almost 9 times out of 10, they washed the Packers on the way to that Super Bowl run. Whether it was Colin Kaepernick in the playoffs, washed the Packers, washed them boys. Pretty sure the Saints did it, washed them. Who else? Seattle, washed them. Everybody washes the Packers on the way to the Super Bowl. That's just kind of like it's the NFC's favorite pastime at this point. Like, oh, you want to go to the Super Bowl? Well, you get to wash out Aaron Rodgers. Congrats. Makes no sense whatsoever. They really should have like won at least. I mean, maybe. I really thought he was gonna end with 3. I thought he'd end with 3. He'd have one more than Big Ben, and he'd have 3, and that'd be it. And it'd be like, all right, hey, kudos to you, A-Raj. Refuse to call him A-Rod. He is A-Raj. Kudos to you with your 3 rings. Nope. Man got 1. So, I don't know that he ends up getting another one while in Green Bay. I really did think that he would leave and try to, like, win another ring elsewhere. I thought he was going to end up in Denver, to be honest. Thought he would go over there because they're a team that's just a quarterback shy of like being a very complete team. He did not, but someone else did go to Denver. Not go, he was sent. But yeah, Russell freaking Wilson was traded by the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos. My old roommate Savage could not be happier about this right now. Huge Broncos fan, that guy. Huge. Russell Wilson going to the Broncos is not something that I had on my 2022 bingo card. Didn't have it. Did not see that coming at all. I legitimately thought that he would play his whole career in Seattle and he would just like retire a Seahawk and call it a day. Apparently not. The trade involved just a fuck ton of draft picks, obviously, because Russell Wilson. He's Russell Wilson. He's a great quarterback. He really is. He's a great quarterback that I think it makes. He's great enough of a quarterback that I mean, it's an early shot, but yeah, no, he makes the Broncos a contender now. Like, he makes them a contender immediately, without a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt, makes them a contender. So, interested to see what they do. I will say, I mean, if I was still playing fantasy football, I would probably try to draft him in the later round and just cash in on it. I'm done playing fantasy football. I'm retired from it. It was a good run, but I'm really done. I won one championship. It's cool. I have as many fantasy football championships as Aaron Rodgers has Super Bowls. And I'm happy with that. I can sleep well at night like that, okay? It helps me sleep well. I'm good. So, still related to sports, local sports. First off, Providence College's basketball team is fucking killing shit. So shout out to them, and shout out to their coach for getting the Big East Coach of the Year. Amazing. But I don't want to talk about them right now. I don't because as much as I say shout out to them, I don't watch college basketball. I don't care who's playing. I'm not watching. It's just cool. No. Y'all have that. But in speaking about them though, the stadium that they play in, which we know and love, we call it the Dunkin' Donuts Center. There is then their naming rights are coming up very soon. So there might be a new name for that arena. And it made me just start to think, what other what other possibilities? What are the other options? Dunkin' Donuts Center is easily the most Rhode Island fucking name for an arena. And it's almost too perfect, which is why I don't know if it'll change. But I do, part of me does want to live in a world where maybe it's like, I don't know, maybe Hasbro jumps in. Maybe like a Fidelity Investments or IGT. One of them ends up like jumping into the shit. Those are the realistic contenders to this, right? Those are like the real, just like realistic, who's got the capital to do the thing. Personally, I think it should be voted on by the people. The people keep the lights on in this place. We come here, we do business here, I would love to just see it go to a vote and just see what the people give it, man. Cause I could really see Rhode Island, cause first off, if you would have given Rhode Islanders a vote prior to it being like when it was still the Providence Civic Center, they probably would have voted Dunkin' Donuts Center for sure. Like, oh, of course, I love Dunkin'. But man, the different Rhode Island staples, thinking about beyond Dunkin' that can potentially take that place, it's endless. There's so many. You know, what if it was called the Coffee Milk Center, huh? The Chowder Center. Ooh, the Chowder Center. Something to think about, people. It's a lot of different options here. A lot of things to consider. But if I'm being realistic, I'm pretty sure it's going to be either like Hasbro, IGT, Fidelity. They're the real competitors to throw their name in the hat and try to get that naming right. So we'll see. We'll keep you posted here at the What Are We Even Talking About podcast. Switching gears to music. A lot of new music has come out. I've been listening to Conway the Machine's album, been listening to 2 Chainz album, been listening to Benny the Butcher's album, which just came out yesterday, Tana Talk 4. Fire. Gunna's album is also dope. And then there was an album that came out by Crooked Eye or King Crook, whatever he's going by, and Joel Ortiz, which was called The Rise and Fall of Slaughterhouse, which for those of you who don't know, Slaughterhouse was a rap group which was Joel Ortiz, Crooked Eye, Royce the 5'9", and Joe Budden. Joe Budden famously retired from rap and just has no interest in rapping anymore and creating music, which understandably so. I do feel like that does happen whenever you're doing anything that starts as a passion and you do it too much. You will get resentful of it. It's a very realistic thing. I think people highly, and I talk about it here all the time, people highly underestimate the ability to despise your art. It happens. It does happen. It's a real thing. But there was an IG Live with Joel Ortiz, Joe Budden, and Royce the 5'9", where, I mean, it seems like they're definitely starting to just air their let me get a drink. Hold up. Air their dirty laundry out in public, which is insane. Mainly because of the fact, I think, when you've built something with a group of other individuals, yeah, everyone might go their separate ways and all of that, but that, just it's kind of like that feeling of just seeing, like, watching brothers fight, and it's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. My hope is, I mean, I don't know the full details of it. It seems like there was some money on the line, and Joe Budden and there was some miscommunication. Joe Budden very much just being Joe Budden, which I'll die on the hill that, like, Joe Budden is right more times than he's wrong. Well, maybe I won't die on that hill, because he is there are instances where he's wrong. So I'm not gonna cape to that extent. But I just think, he has his mission. He has his mission, and sometimes, when people have their mission, it's not whatever it is that your mission is, and you've got to respect that. So fuck you if you think I'm caping for Joe Budden. Budden. Like, I think he's fine. There's a lot of people who hate him. A lot of people who I talk to hate him. I think he's fine. While on the topic of music, Ye is still wilding out here. I did see a report that Donda 2 has no, I forgot it's not eligible for Billboard, technically, or it's not eligible for certification, because it was only distributed and streamed to people with STEM players. Your boy was on that list. But yeah, if you didn't have a STEM player, you didn't have access to Donda 2. So I see it as a win on his part, just being able to be like, look, I don't care about your certifications. I don't care about your acknowledgments, because I think that's really what happens a lot. And sometimes when you're an artist who has built a platform and just kind of transcended that shit, you can be like, nah, like, no, you want my shit, you're going to come over here and you're going to pay the price of this for it. Because it isn't like he didn't charge you extra. If you got the STEM player, even if you got a STEM player before Donda 2 came out, you were just able to download Donda 2 onto the STEM player for free. You didn't have to pay for it. It was just there. You just downloaded it. Like, so people are investing in these STEM players. These things are actually, they do make the music listening experience so much more fun. I will say my son absolutely loves the STEM player. Like, I can't get over how much he loves to just play around with it and just like DJ our car rides. It's fucking awesome. It's really, really awesome. Sticking on to music, The Game, rapper The Game, whose career is just built on beef. I think so I have a couple of thoughts about The Game. Because I am a fan of his music, I will say. I am a fan of his music. He has incredible albums, right? I think where I have issues with Game is how much of his platform and existence is built on beef and him talking about other people. And then when things like the Super Bowl happens, it's like, oh, well, why wasn't Game there? It's because nobody fucking likes him. Like, I can imagine people don't really like him to that extent because, all he does is talk about people. What? Game went on record saying that, Kanye West, that Ye did for Game, Ye did more for Game in the last few months or few weeks than Dre ever did for him. And I was just like, wait, like, what? Huh? What does this even mean? Like, that's insane to say. Insane. It's insane to say that from a motherfucker who got NWA tatted on him. Like, nah, Dre ain't do shit for me. Like, bro, you got NWA tatted on you. I don't want to hear you say anything about Dre. Like, nah. And then it was him talking, and then Game was talking about Eminem, and saying that he could beat Eminem in the verses, and that Eminem's numbers were inflated. He's not a better rapper than The Game. He sold more records, but his numbers were inflated. No, I don't think Eminem is a better rapper than The Game. I will say that. And again, I'm not Eminem's demographic. I don't think I've ever been Eminem's demographic at any point in my life. I've never really been an Eminem fan. It's just not a thing. It's the music he has a couple cool tracks, but it's not anything that I've ever been fully able to just gravitate to. I think that, like, the part that's wrong is I don't think that Eminem's numbers are inflated in any way, because Eminem was a cultural phenomenon, though. Like, I don't think you can argue that. Like, when you think about who Eminem's demographic and target audience was, Eminem made hip-hop music for the majority of the country. The majority of the country who had no real gateway into or look into hip-hop at all went to Eminem. They didn't go into anyone else. They went to Eminem. And that's where you started, like, that's where he was able to sell these astronomical numbers of records. It wasn't because he was better. And I mean, I think he's even been on record and saying, like, yeah, I definitely sold more records because I was white. But I'm like, all right, cool. Because I can tell you right now, in my neighborhood growing up, or even, in my later years, as us olds say, I don't know that I've never willingly played an Eminem song. I still stand on that, really. I've never been, like, reached over and been like, yo, I really gotta listen to this M. Like, can someone throw on Superman right now? Like, I know the songs, I know the lyrics because they were just played in, like, volume by certain people, like family members and stuff like that. But yeah, no, it's not. I've never been like a heavy heavy M fan, and I don't know that I know that many that were heavy M fans around me. So no, no. So, but I think in regards to a versus battle where you're going hit for hit and you're, really playing to who has the biggest records and like crowd reaction and being able to, kind of do your thing on that stage. Yeah, no, I think a game would bite off more than he could chew with Eminem. I think I don't know that he would be able to hold his own against an Eminem. Just no, no. Just because again, it's thinking about that audience that what Eminem was. It's no, no. I also don't think Eminem will ever do a versus battle. I think there are really a couple of people who we will likely never see do a versus. I still think Jay-Z is on that list. Eminem, I don't think we'll ever see him do one. Um, maybe we'll see Nas. I don't think we'll see Nas. I don't think Nas is trying to do this either. I still strongly believe that from a cultural standpoint, it really should be Jay-Z versus Nas. Just based solely on the history aspect of it. I don't know that it makes sense for Jay to go against anyone else. I don't know that. I mean, everyone says, yo, Jay-Z versus Lil Wayne. Fam, that's not going to go the way you think it's going to go. No, it is not. Not. So don't even, no, that's not a thing. Not a thing at all. Last thing on the music topic is Rick Ross might easily be the most hilarious the most like unintentionally hilarious individuals right now. I don't think he means to be funny, but he's just fucking hilarious to me. And for me, it did stem from the video of him getting charged $1,000 per tree to have trees removed from his backyard. Yeah, 10 trees. So he's being charged $10,000, and he was like, "Nah, I ain't paying no $10,000." And he sent someone to go and get the biggest chainsaw that they could find at Home Depot. And there's a video of him with a fucking cowboy hat chopping down this fucking tree. Yeah. I urge y'all to just go and just really just connect with Rick Ross and just if you don't keep up with his content, just do yourself the favor. Cause man, that man is up to some shit and he's fucking hilarious. And I don't think he means to be hilarious, but he's hilarious, y'all. He is hilarious. Now we're gonna do a quick pivot back to sports, but really talk about real sports. And I'm only doing this for a few reasons, because there are a couple. I haven't talked in depth about wrestling, so I'm saving that for the end, towards the end of the pod, of course, for me to just speak in depth about wrestling. And there are people who listen to this pod and kind of seek out my wrestling opinions. Because they're just like, yo, you know your shit. I want to hear what you got to say. What do you think about what's going on here? Right? So, a couple things are happening. First off, we're in WrestleMania season. This is a thing. This is official. It's WrestleMania season. WrestleMania is just a couple of weeks away at this point. There is still the looming possibility that Cody Rhodes will be appearing on WWE television and having a match at WrestleMania. It does seem like that is being set up. And I'll tell you where in a second. We are seeing more and more things being piled into WrestleMania. And another thing that we're seeing, so because we're also seeing things happening just all over WWE, Dolph Ziggler has just won the NXT title, which he won in a triple threat match, and he did not pin the champion, Braun Breaker. I think this is on purpose. He getting the title off of Braun Breaker in the lead up to WrestleMania, and pretty much seemingly he looks like Braun is just being pushed right to Raw. Like he's going to be in Raw and just kind of getting thrown right into it. I would not be surprised if he's included in some kind of, they do the whole Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal thing. Braun Breaker might be in it, and he's probably gonna win it. If he's in that, if Braun Breaker is in the fucking Andre the Giant Battle Royal, I am calling it now. He will win that thing. They are pushing that motherfucker to the moon. He is everything they wish Scott Steiner would have been. Everything. He's everything they wanted Scott Steiner to be. So he 100% will win that. I think Dolph Ziggler he's gonna be just hanging out in NXT, him and Robert Roode, and they're gonna just hang out in NXT and just fucking run shit down there for a little bit. It'll be him and Tommaso Ciampa. I think are gonna have an amazing takeover match for the title, and I think Ziggler will come out on top, and he'll have a bit of a reign until they kind of figure out what's the next move there. But WrestleMania, and where I think this Cody Rhodes setup is what they're doing to kind of open the door for Cody Rhodes. So Kevin Owens, everyone, because you kind of start to see with WrestleMania, people start getting paired off in the lead up to it. Kevin Owens is now paired off to do the thing with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like everyone is getting paired off. Everyone's doing something. Doing something. You got The Miz and Logan Paul. They're doing something over here with the Mysterios. You've got what else? Pat McAfee over here with Austin Theory. Pat McAfee is amazing. That's gonna be an amazing match. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great. You have all of these things happening. You have Roman versus Brock Lesnar to unify the two world championships. You have Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. You've got Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Everyone is paired off except for one person. Seth Rollins is not yet paired into any match at WrestleMania at all. And I strongly believe that this is where the Cody Rhodes card gets played, if indeed Cody Rhodes has really signed with the WWE. This is where it goes. It goes to Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, WrestleMania, boom, amazing match. One thing and the reason why I do feel like that's what they'll do, because there were some people who were saying, no, they'll maybe save Cody Rhodes for the night after WrestleMania. No, I don't think they will. I'd more likely think they'll announce Cody Rhodes, and you won't see Cody Rhodes until WrestleMania. He won't show up on television until WrestleMania. It'll just be announced, hey, Seth Rollins, this is who you're facing. And it'll be a video of Cody Rhodes. Kind of like what they did in NXT with Shinsuke Nakamura. You didn't see Shinsuke Nakamura until he debuted. They announced him, Sami Zayn, we've got you a takeover opponent, and it was a video, Shinsuke Nakamura on the screen, and you didn't see him until takeover. I would not be surprised if they did that with Cody Rhodes. The reason why I think that they would do that is because this is, so in WrestleMania 2 years ago, it's the start of the pandemic. They're about to do their first WrestleMania inside of the Performance Center. They're just kind of trying to figure this thing out. There's no fans for WrestleMania. And they end up which at the time was very, very just unconventional thinking, made WrestleMania a 2-night event. And they had these, theatrical matches, like the graveyard match that Undertaker versus AJ Styles was in, and the Bray Wyatt Funhouse match against John Cena, which was fucking amazing to watch. And they were like, people are really into this whole 2-night WrestleMania thing. It makes it 2 shows that are a little bit shorter instead of this 1 6-hour-long show that they normally do. Which is why, by the way, I've always told myself, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to WrestleMania and sit and watch like 7 hours of a show. Like, there's no fucking way. It's impossible. But a 2-night WrestleMania, I could make a weekend out of it. Yeah. So they did that in 2020. And then last year, they did it again. 2-night WrestleMania in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium. Limited audience, though, of course. They weren't. The stadium was not in full capacity. That's why they did 2 nights. They were like, all right, let's do the 2 nights then again. People seem to like that, and we'll see if people will show up for 2 nights. So they did it. Limited capacity. I think it was somewhere around like maybe 10,000 people in attendance for each night, something along those lines. Right, 10 to 20,000. Fast forward to this year, and I don't know that WWE has taken this is the biggest WrestleMania dice roll that they've taken since like fucking WrestleMania 1, when they were like, yo, we're going to put all the chips in this basket and we're just going to see how it goes. So WrestleMania this year is taking place in Dallas at the AT&T Center. Is that what the Cowboys Stadium is called? And it is 2 nights in a stadium that, when set up for a wrestling event, last time they were there, they fit 100,000 people. So they are attempting to, over 2 nights, have 2,000 people in attendance for WrestleMania. So they are throwing everything at this thing. Everything. That's why I think that they will be pulling out all the stops. They will announce Cody Rhodes and say, you're not going to see Cody Rhodes until WrestleMania. Go to WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns is the main event. We're going to unify both titles because we want all of the eggs in this basket. That's why also, if you notice, a lot of the other title matches are on the first night. Because the second night, you're going there to watch Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. It doesn't matter what you put over there. Is everything else that you might want to see. We're going to put that on night 1. We're going to separate it and put that on night 1. So now you're seeing all of this stuff come together. And it's just like, yo, they're really going for broke for this. I truly believe that, I would love to see Roman Reigns win. Like, I don't think this is the end of this title run. I don't think this is the end of the head of the table character. This is not the end of it. It can't be the end of it. It's too good of a character. It's like, it is so good of a character. It's so good of a title run. Like, I really do foresee this thing going. And I would not be surprised, because I have, read different rumors of a possible Roman Reigns versus The Rock match. I think it's perfect, because Roman Reigns saying he is the head of the table of the Samoan dynasty to go up against the next best greatest member of this family still living is The Rock. I would not be surprised. Again, this is where in WWE, just going for broke, Roman Reigns wins this thing. And right afterwards, The Rock comes out. The Rock comes out and lays down the challenge for WrestleMania next year, like he did with John Cena. It's like, yo, I'm ending this in a year. Because I do love the current game that they've been doing, that every time Roman Reigns successfully defends the title, a new challenger appears, like it's a fucking arcade game. Like, it is pretty amazing. So those are just my thoughts. That's what I think is gonna happen. I'm hopeful. I do wish that is the way it plays out. I'm not ready. If there was ever a time for WWE, like Roman Reigns is already at like 550 days as champion. If they give him the other title and they unify it, and he really is the head of the table, he really is like champion on both shows, and he's just like running with it. If there was ever a time that WWE had built-in ability to have a champion run for 1,000 days, this would be it. Can't see it happening with anyone else, where it won't get stale. Like, everything that Roman Reigns is doing right now is just, yo, he is like just at the top of his game. You can let this run for another year or two, honestly, and it be totally fine, totally entertaining. He's putting on great matches. He puts on great promos. Like, what do you want? What do you want? You give him both belts, and you put more attention on the Intercontinental and the United States Championship. Like, which they're kind of already starting to do, with Ricochet being the Intercontinental Champion now, and Finn Balor being the United States Champion. Like, both of those titles are now going to be more interesting. You're going to get better matches. You're going to get better shit around those two belts. So now, yeah, put both of the world titles on Roman Reigns, and that's just Roman Reigns' program, and that's what's going on over there. And now you got more time for people to care about these titles over here. It makes too much sense, so it likely won't happen. But just a man can dream, can't he? Huh? So those are just my thoughts. All right. The last thing that I want to talk about, and I did mention it, as far as just like in thinking about the first WrestleMania with no fans being 2 years ago, we're now at the 2-year mark since the start of this pandemic. It's been 2 years since I remember, March 2020, it was this world of just uncertainty, not really knowing what the hell is about to happen, how is this going to go. Things were just starting to really get shut down. I think it was in March that my job was like, yep, we're going remote, stay home, take your laptops, and we're going to just kind of figure it out. I went, and it was a solid year and some change of people just being home. And it's crazy to think that that was 2 years ago and where we are now. I know I had COVID. I know a lot of people who went through COVID. And I mean, I think when thinking about these past 2 years, I think about things that I've learned, people who I've just grown closer with, and what I see life as moving forward. And all I can say is just continue to better yourselves, continue to care about yourselves and others, and just continue to try and spread positivity as best you can, because I think these 2 years really taught all of us that nothing is promised, nothing is guaranteed. Take care of you and yours, and make sure that you are protecting your mental health at all costs, because I've become way more conscious of that in the last 2 years than ever. So, with that being said, that's all I've got. I don't know that I'd be able to sit and talk here for longer at this point because I'm tired. It's like 1 a.m. I'm good. But with that being said, I will take us away. Some ships float, some ships sink, but the best ships are friendships. And to those ships, we drink. Cheers, y'all. See y'all next week. I will have someone here with me next week. This is not going to be a new thing that I'm just always here by myself. I can't do this all the time. Maybe I'll do this again one day. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But come back next week. See who I have here with me next week. That being said, peace, love, all the above. We out. I'm out. What do you mean we out? I'm out. Peace, love, all the above.